Traditionally, the busiest shopping day of the year, but in 2014, what does tradition mean anymore, especially when you add Gray Thursday and Cyber Monday to the mix? Take a look.
Black Friday was not as green for U.S. retailers, with sales dropping by 11% compared to 2013. Fewer Americans went out shopping as early discounting and better online deals won them over.
Consumers were not ignoring, but getting ahead of Black Friday and going into Thanksgiving Day to shop.
Overall, 133.7 million people shopped in stores and online over the long break. But total spending fell to $50.9 billion from $57.4 billion last year.
Want the deals when they want them, and they're not just going to go buy with abandon.
But Black Friday losses were Cyber Monday's gains. Sales grew 8.5%, solidifying Monday as the largest online shopping day of the year. Shoppers spent an average of $124 per order. And over the busiest shopping days of the year, an interesting trend emerged.
So 62% increase year over year for us on Black Friday in terms of mobile shopping. And then we also saw on Thanksgiving 47% increase in mobile shopping.
We are back live here on set at Fresh Outlook. I am joined by the ever think tank Jose Lopez, physics professor at Seton Hall University, Albert Goldson of Indo-Brazilian Associates, Thomas Prusa, economics professor at Rutgers University, and joining us via Skype is Michael Datcher, author of the New York Times best-selling book, Raising Fences, and he also has a new historical novel out called America's. Let me first start by explaining what Black Friday is to the viewers. It has nothing to do with race. It's an accounting term. It means that retailers want to be in the black and not in the red. But let's begin with a black and white issue that emerged this year, a protest all over the country against retailers, and Michael Datcher was at one in Los Angeles in front of Tiffany's. Tell me why, Michael, you chose to protest on Black Friday.
You know, we're encouraged in America to go spend money and to consume with an abandon. And our point was that, you know, Americans are also consuming black men and black women at a way that's really harmful to all life, in fact. And so we were trying to make the point that let's not forget that people are being cannibalized as well as spending money. And so we went in front of Tiffany's, a series of activists, and had a major action there in front of the Tiffany store, marching, shutting down the streets. It was a very powerful time to remind people that we can't just keep spending when people's lives are being eaten as well.
Okay, powerful message, well received. Everybody heard about the protests. Let's turn back for just a second about traditional shopping. Tom Prusa, I'm going to begin with you. We saw a decline on Black Friday and a huge increase for Cyber Monday. Does this reflect overall shopping trends in general?
I think absolutely. I think there's a couple of things. I think over the past, say, 5 years, there's been enough images of absolute chaos on Black Friday and the amount of time people have to actually spend shopping on Black Friday, just checking out. I think many Americans, myself included, the idea of going out on Black Friday is just not worth it. I'd rather shop via my computer, and because I can do so, I don't need to go out. I can shop 3 or 4 days before Christmas when the things really go on sale. And I think that thinking is changing how Americans think about Black Friday.
Jose Lopez was busy online ordering his own drone for Christmas. He wants a whole series of Air Force, the Jose Lopez Air Force, and he's going to fly over Seton Hall University. Tell me about shopping habits in America, and how are you shopping this holiday season?
Same thing. I shop a lot online now. I mean, I've kind of moved away from the brick and mortar stores. I mean, it's just the hassles and everything, and now it looks like they never close. They're trying to be like online. Online is 24/7 all the time, whenever you want. Wake up at 3 in the morning, you can't sleep, do some shopping. But the brick and mortar stores now, I mean, there has to be some boundaries, and Thanksgiving is one of those. I think that whole day, pretty much everything non-essential should close down, with the exception of hospitals and such. Everything should shut down. But at 6 o'clock, stores open up, brick and mortar store, and you have lines of people showing up there in the middle of the night to shop. I mean, that's a little too much, in my opinion.
I agree, but we're all men, and men, to be perhaps a little sexist, traditionally, maybe I've couched it a little bit, aren't big shoppers, as women like the experience of going out shopping, having lunch. It's a social thing for them. Again, Times have changed, people have evolved, I'm a dinosaur. But do you agree a little bit with me, Albert, that we're all men talking about shopping and it might be a little bit different for women?
Oh, absolutely. However, the marketers are very, very clever, and they target it in such a way to convince the women to bring their boyfriends and husbands along because of, let's say, shops that cater to men, whether it's clothing, electronics, etc., that these items are available, they are on sale, etc. What I find also very curious about this year is that although the retail sales on Black Friday dropped dramatically from previous years, we had the lowest gasoline prices in years. So that indicates a fundamental shift that people are preferring to shop online than actually go to the retail brick and mortar stores.
You just have to look at Route 17. I wouldn't go near it for all the money in the world on Black Friday or just about any other day for that matter. I do it all from my phone or whatever as well. Tell me a little bit, Tom, about the economic impact of the holiday shopping season. One, on retailers, two, America and the spending public.
Right, it still is the case that this Christmas period is the make or break period for many retailers. I think what's changed is that Black Friday isn't the event or the day that it was, and this still is the determining factor for whether many businesses actually make a profit for the year is the month of December. For the economy, this is way overblown, the impact. So the U.S. economy is far bigger than the Christmas shopping season. This is a component of it, but this shouldn't be viewed as a sign that Americans are not doing better. All the economic trends are bullish. Black Friday's sale reports were down.
All right. Jose, do you see this cyber trend as a death of the American Main Street? Is it just a matter of time before little towns in America are just filled with maybe bars and restaurants and an antique shop, but no real stores?
I mean, we're seeing images as we are right now. Our viewers were seeing a minute ago of Amazon that's put drones basically on the floor that are replacing people. I mean, and keeping people from losing jobs in that sense too. But I don't think so. I mean, I think like the many online retailers do a great job. You could see any item you want and rotate it and flip it over. But the touching and the feeling, I mean, we're tactile animals. We have to see things, smell them, lick them, just get a feel for them. So I don't think the brick and mortar stores will ever completely disappear. But what seems to be happening is the franchises starting to get bigger. The Targets, the Walmart, I mean, had a great Friday and Black Friday and everything in general, online and in brick and mortar. So I think those kind of entities that have both physical and online entities are going to keep doing well.
And Amazon is actually adding some brick and mortar because they do see the benefit that you mentioned as well, Jose. Let's turn to Michael Datcher for just a second. Jose mentioned Walmart, which tends to be, in many people's minds, an enemy of the working class person because they kind of break unions, in many people's opinions, and they were the target of many protests this Black Friday as well. Tell me about the Walmart protests. Do you think they were effective? Do you think in some ways they hurt poor people because that is a place where people can shop affordably?
Well, as we know, when Walmart comes to town, small businesses suffer. The folks who are black and brown who own a business tend to own a small business. But when Walmart comes to town, they cut prices and they undercut the ability of black and brown or the dispossessed to own their own business and therefore hire people. Walmart is not a good place to have in your town. And I think and the protests are effective because they remind people that, listen, although this is a big shiny building, in the long run, it's not good for you or your family or your family's business.
All right, Michael, thank you for those thoughts. Albert, we hear so much in our discourse today about race, even race when it comes to shopping and business ownership. Are we doing ourselves a disservice by injecting race into areas where there might be a racial component, but it doesn't necessarily have to exist and perhaps will go away if we stop pointing it out?
I think it definitely has to be brought out in the open. You take a look at so many neighborhoods, let's say, for example, in New York, downtown Brooklyn, many of those shops were owned by minorities, people of color, for decades. They were there, they stuck it out, they served the community during many decades. Once that area, and you can take downtown Brooklyn, you can take many areas across the country, became gentrified, real estate prices went up, the mom and pop shops could not compete as far as the rents were concerned, even if they offer the same services.
But isn't that just how it goes, though? I mean, I love going to mom and pop shops, Jose, but when I go to spend my money, I get on my phone, I buy from Amazon because it's cheaper and it's going to be in my house in 2 days. And if I don't like it, I send it back. I don't have to deal with some shopkeeper saying I don't like my lamp. And he's like, well, what's wrong with it?
That tech is really taken over if you look at it. I mean, when I go shopping, I see people constantly on their smartphones looking and comparing prices of all the different stores online, or should I buy this here at wherever they might be, at Home Depot or Walmart or wherever. So that's really, really technology has, information technology has really changed the way we shop and the way we think about what we want to buy, and changed entire communities, neighborhoods, absolutely.
And Thomas, Cy Sim used to say an educated consumer is our best customer, and that's what we've all become. We can instantly get the best price for anything online, and you'd have to be out of your mind not to know that. It's really hard for small business to compete.
Yeah, but I also think that the big threat to Walmart is Walmart to the small business. I'm not sure how much greater that online entry is. The small businesses have a niche in the market that are attractive. I myself prefer shopping in neighborhoods where there are a lot of small businesses. The big box stores that we've seen over the years that are really challenged by this online entry. So I'm not sure it's just a small business issue. And I also want to comment one thing on the effect of Walmart. You know, the effect of Walmart, it is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's a job killer, and it's a good job killer mainly, right? There's a lot of low-paid jobs at Walmart. On the other hand, Walmart prices are attractive. And so from the consumer side, that's the challenge, which is they are allowing Americans to get a little bit more for their dollar, but the challenge is the set of people who are being affected by Walmart's the economic model. Exactly. That's the challenge for America, that there's a lot of really low-paid jobs at Walmart.
Exactly,
that's the problem.
Hence their expression, spend less, live better. It's effective because it works, and it's true. Okay, well, I want to thank Michael Datcher for joining us via Skype, and all of my guests today for their opinions, but we're going to have a whole lot more opinion and commentary when we come back on our lightning round, from a comedian who is no laughing matter to a court fight over chimp rights. A look at happenings that define our week after this.